Hey everyone, thanks a ton for joining us today. I see a lot of familiar faces there, so it's super cool to have all you customers, agency partners, investors, and well-wishers of the company here with us watching on. Today marks a very important day in the history of consumer. We've been around for about roughly the better part of the last 4 years, which we spent devoting ourselves to building technology solutions to make market research and consumer research faster, better, and easier for brands across the globe. And today's launch marks the collaboration of all these efforts, the culmination of all these efforts into one product that we think will truly redefine the way all of you do, consume, and use research and insights today. When we look at the era we live in an era of rapid. We want groceries in minutes. We want content on demand. We want to scroll through TikTok and receive more content from more creators than has ever been created in decades of filmmaking and cinematography. So when we do live in an era of rapid, that also means we give growth to two major consumer segments. We have consumers who are rapidly evolving, and that's fundamentally driven by trend cycles they're using, driven by increasing content consumption. Today, somebody sitting in India can go and look at content from the West. You get trends like Korean beauty and Korean skincare going across the transatlantic to the US, to Nigeria, to countries that would have never been exposed to these cultures before without the amount of increasing content consumption, which means your consumer is essentially changing their preferences every minute. At the same time, your competitors aren't sitting silently. With the rise of D2C, with the rise of drop shipping, with the rise of the distribution democratization, brands can no longer sit on their laurels. You have brands that can pop up any minute and take your cake. So what does that mean? I mean, you have rapidly evolving consumers, you have rapidly innovating competitors. But does the research really keep up? Does it really make sense that when consumers are moving in minutes, competitors are shifting in weeks, research is taking months? It almost makes no sense to continue doing research the way it's always been done. So what exactly is today's research? Right? Let's just do a small map for us to understand. So starting all the way over here, when we look at traditional research for the last 50 years, you have manual processes like focus groups or panels. You have surveys, which obviously recently have become online mode surveys, online mode panels. But when we plot them on an axis of speed versus usability, focus groups give you good insights, they give you good data, maybe a small sample. But of course, they take weeks or months to complete. Surveys can get you a slightly larger sample, less usable data, but still something which is representative. But of course, they're also slow. Then you go to listening on this side of the spectrum where you have social listening, which I fundamentally feel for the 2010s got it completely right in terms of direction, but haven't unfortunately innovated to the extent that they should. They have extreme good speed. They tap a data source which is rapidly evolving and probably the best data source for us to understand for research today. But the problem is usability. Many of you brands, many of you agencies yourselves use these tools internally, and you have teams that are built on top of these tools to really make sense of the outcomes. So if the tool needs you to make it work, the tool really isn't working, is it? Finally, you go to AI tools, right? And this is probably a new phenomenon. I'd say AI/ML over the last 4 to 5 years. These tools have all been consolidated with singular use cases. So you'll have something that's extremely good in a very narrow niche. But unfortunately, they even though they come with a level of speed, either they come with the expectation of having your own data sets or integrating with a primary provider, or they're too nuanced to be completely usable across the horizontal of research. So you end up having to buy a bunch of tools to make it work. So when we look at the future of research, when we look at the future of intelligence, this is where we want to be. We want something that is extremely usable to the extent that even a survey or a panel can't compete, but at the speed of listening, at the speed of AI, at the speed of compute. Because if you're not rapid, you're missing out on the market. Now, let's do a small understanding of the real question on the table today, which is that what is really the future of research? And interestingly, to get to that answer, we need to first look at some of the other industries. So let's look at the eras of something as simple as streaming. So we start with movie theaters. Movie theaters used to be the place where you can get your content. You go to a theater and you do it. Then DVD came, where it was a little bit more on demand. You could purchase a DVD, take it home, but not as on demand or not as rapid as you want. Finally, you get your streaming platforms like Netflix that have disrupted the market by being providers that get you at one click any of any of that content libraries immediately. You don't need to book tickets. You don't need to wait in line. You don't need to plan in advance or buy a DVD from a rental store. Then we go to e-commerce, or let's look at logistics in general. You had just 3PL and logistics players being the only way to get things moving or commerce moving from one place to the other. Then, of course, with the advent of e-commerce platforms like Amazon and the better shipping and logistics players, including DHL themselves, we now have easier ways and faster ways to get things from point A to point B. But we didn't stop there, did we? Consumers keep wanting more. And with the advent and rise of quick commerce, we look at apps like Zepto, Blinkit in India, that essentially will do instant delivery, 10-minute delivery. So you've taken weeks to ship something down to days, and at sometimes even overnight, all the way down to minutes. What's happening here? They're becoming rapid. Finally, look at content itself, right? You start with movies back in the day being the number one form of content or singular form of content, shifting to YouTube sort of players where they have content which is slightly short form, slightly more palatable. Even your Netflixes and TV shows which became even more palatable. And then you have Reels and TikToks which are seconds. So you're moving again from hours to minutes to seconds. What's happening? Rapid. Now, what is the future of research? If this is the future of all the industries we look around us, and many of you also operate in content, many of you also operate in marketing, so you understand what I'm talking about. So what is the real future of research? When we look at this, and if you've been paying attention through the live, I think the easiest clue is that the future of research is rapid. It's rapid, on demand, at your fingertips. You can do research anywhere within a few minutes without much hassle. That would be the future of research. The second most critical piece is it has to be AI-driven. In today's environment, AI-driven is not just a buzzword. AI-driven means you're removing the biases of human intervention. You're removing the manual processes. You're making it faster and compute intensive, which means you can even identify patterns that you traditionally cannot. Then, where exactly are we looking for this data? Because talking to consumers clearly is a flawed method, right? In fact, nobody even fills surveys anymore. There's a large portion of the population that does not sit on a consumer panel. So where is the real organic consumer behavior data? It's on digital, it's on the web, it's on social media, marketplaces, blogs, search, the entire universe, which is only ever expanding. And that's the source you need to tap. But not only are we tapping this data, not only do we want to know that chocolate was used 35 million times in the last 1 year, we also want to mine it to get insights. If you go to a coal mine, you go to a gold mine, digging rocks, there's a lot of rocks, right? Only few of those rocks actually have the gold. And it takes a bunch of processing before that comes into your jewelry. And today, we've started by identifying the rocks. But the real value comes when we mine this data at scale, at large volume, to drive insights or research outcomes. What else? Finally, and most critical, and where a lot of tools today lack, is being custom and being flexible. The most critical piece of this entire picture is I think every brand's own context, every brand's own brief is very customized, right? It's very core and contextual in terms of why you're doing the research, what is the objective, what all do you want to look for, what's your TG. In fact, there should be no standardization of inputs, no two briefs are alike. And if no two briefs are alike and no two brands are alike, how do you standardize that into a tool? You can't. You need something as a tool that can be as customizable, as flexible as somebody doing the research for you in-house right then and there. So this is the future of research. But guess what? At Consuma, we've spent the last 4 years trying to build this entire solution. It took multiple iterations of technology, multiple iterations of product, many versions of the product, which I'm sure a lot of you would have played with. And we thank you wholeheartedly for all the feedback you give us to help us improve. But today we reach the culmination of these efforts. I'm super excited to share with you what we built.
The future of research is here. Presenting the all-new Rapid Research Platform by Consuma. Type in your brief or choose from our library of use cases. Consuma's powerful AI agents look through the entire web for relevant data in real time. Data is then filtered to include the most contextually relevant data points for your query. Every conversation is enriched with advanced attributes and signals by proprietary models. Consuma's purpose-built research agents decode the data to uncover the underlying meaning across text, image, and video. Specialized AI agents discover hidden patterns with complex analysis. You can view the results of your query in interactive dashboards, Trace every insight back to its source with verbatums and methodology. Conduct further analysis, uncover more insights, and shape your report in the direction you want. Want some help? Cassie, your personal AI analyst, can help you with any query. Or try a whole new way to interact with your dashboard. Ask Cassie to present it to you.
Hey, I'm Cassie, your presentation assistant. I can help you understand this research data.
Don't just listen, research. Welcome to the era of rapid.
Welcome back. I hope that was a cool trailer, but we actually get a chance to step into the real thing. So here we are on the Rapid Research platform. So let's start the demo. You can create a report. You can either put in a custom brief, or you can select from our range of presets, which already have the brief templatized for you, and you only need to add a few variables. For organizations, we also allow you to create your own custom templates so that everyone in the organization is aligned to a similar sort of use case, similar sort of analysis, and you have that standardized across the organization. But for this demo, let's quickly look through a custom brief, which will also be the most common usage that you will use. We have typed in a research brief for your viewing pleasure. So for this demo, we're looking at the face wash category. The brief itself, you guys know this better than me. You put in a context on the brand, you put in context on the area of interest, the objectives of the study, the limitations of the study in terms of geography, in terms of time ranges, in terms of even behavior attributes that you really want to capture or exclude or include. There are two types of modes of running research in Consuma, in the Rapid Research platform. It's either Zen mode, where you let a single click take you directly from brief to report, where the AI does the heavy handling of configuration. Or for all of you users who really want to have control on the sources, on the attributes, on everything that configures the analysis, that's Pro mode. So let's take a look at what we do when you configure a Pro mode query. So within Pro mode, you can configure the data sources. This is a vanilla list of sources. You can add in, again, from enterprise to enterprise, we have a different list of sources there. You can even request further sources, and we will have our technical team look into it. You can put in a bunch of keywords. You can add in a contextual filter, which is extremely critical because we don't only want conversations by keyword, we want conversations by context, which helps you capture it. You can leave that optional. The AI fills it on its own. You can even use this to run periodic reports. What we quickly realize is that a lot of reports need to be dashboards, and a lot of dashboards need to be always on. So we allow you to create periodic dashboards which run every day, every week, at whatever cadence you want to set, at whatever time you want to set. And these analyses ensure that you're able to get a real-time view across a time series, across a range of variables. If you go back for this run, let's quickly run this in Zen mode so that you have a very clear view. The platform operates on the report credit model, which calculates the amount of credits it would take for a query. A query like this is trying to differentiate between 3 different geographies and has a very limited conversation set, which is why you have an estimated credit count here. So anyway, let's go back into the dashboard, and now comes the most exciting part, is the dashboard itself. So we look at the dashboard, we can look at a bunch of different variables. You can look at the executive summary, which summarizes this for you if you don't have the energy to read through the entire report. Key insights, that tries to mine out interesting correlations, combinations of data points to arrive at interesting reads or insights. When you go into the actual data though, slides are represented as sections within the dashboard. As you can see, every section has a qualitative read as well as a quantitative read of the data. The section also has an understanding of the sample sizes, the sources, the contextual filter, everything you need to really understand what is represented here. However, the dashboards or the graphs itself are interactive. You can hover over one of these to really understand the breakdown of this, as well as the context with which you have these labels. Not only that, you can go to another section. So let's say we go to the skincare behavior section. We can understand a breakdown of the data itself. So you can click view data to really understand or dig deeper into all the different labels that we may not have attributed. The verbatums itself to understand what is contributing to these samples and look at the actual raw data. You can even look at the methodology to understand what was the thought process of the engine or the AI to arrive at this research. But here's where it got interesting, right? This is I'm sure it's a really cool platform which will add a lot of value in our workflows. But we thought still, dashboards are still not, we took it from PDF, from reports to getting to dashboards, but we still didn't feel satisfied with the output we're getting. We're in the age of AI. Why should I even have to click so much to really understand my report? So presenting to you a whole new way to look, interact, and play with your data. Why look through a dashboard and make multiple clicks when you can just let Cassie, your very own AI research analyst, present it to you?
Hey, I'm Cassie, your presentation assistant. I can help you understand this research data. What would you like to know?
Hey, Cassie, I want to understand what drives the barriers amongst 18 to 24-year-olds.
For the 18 to 24 age group, price is the most significant barrier, affecting 45.2% of users. This is followed by inadequate formulations at 32.7%, side effects at 21.9%, and awareness at 12.4%. Does this information help for your presentation?
This is cool. I have another question. What is the sample size of this analysis?
The analysis was conducted on 72,900 conversations that specifically mentioned barriers, filtered from 1.4 million conversations around face washes and face care in India, UAE, and USA. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, cool. That's impressive. Let's move to the next slide, please.
Understood. I can also provide insights on Gen Z skincare behaviors or niacinamide perception in India, the USA, and UAE. Which of these topics would you like to explore next?
Let's explore the Gen Z skincare behavior since we're on that slide.
Sure. What would you like to know about Gen Z skincare behaviors?
So,
For example,
how does the behavior differ between male and females? What's the major differentiation here?
romantic partners play a significant role in skincare, particularly for males at 72, 1% compared to females at 5.7%. Social media influencers impact 40.2% of males and 56.7% of females. Would you like a deeper dive into this?
So, Cassie, I run a face wash brand, and I really want to understand how can I use this insight to create a marketing campaign tailored to target men better.
Given that romantic partners significantly influence males, 72.1%, you could create a campaign that leverages this. Perhaps featuring couples using the product together or highlighting how the product can improve skin health for men, based on advice from their partners. Does that direction seem helpful?
Let's build on this. Can you give me examples or can you give me concepts of campaign ideas, please?
One concept could be a campaign that showcases real life stories of men whose skincare routines have been positively influenced by their partners. This could be through video testimonials or social media content. What do you think about that approach?
That's kind of cool. Let's give a name to this campaign and add a platform to run it on.
How about calling it his and hers skincare? And for the platform, considering the influence of social media, especially for Gen Z, TikTok or Instagram could be ideal. What are your thoughts?
Pretty cool. But now let's say I'm a coffee brand and I really want to understand how to use this insight, even though it's not in my category. What sort of campaign could I run?
Given the insight about the influence of romantic partners, a coffee brand could create a campaign around couples enjoying coffee together as part of their morning routine, perhaps even offering a his and hers coffee blend. Would that be a direction you'd consider?
That's interesting, but what about using that to really put a spin on bundling coffee and skincare products together? Do you think that would work basis this data?
That's an innovative idea. Given that the data highlights the influence of partners on each other's routines, a bundled campaign could work. You might position it as a way for couples to start their day together, with one partner enjoying coffee and the other focusing on skincare. Are you thinking of targeting this at a specific age group?
Yeah, what if we had to do this for 18 to 24?
For the 18 to 24 age group, the data shows that price is a significant barrier. Highlighting the affordability and value of the bundle would be key. You could also leverage social media influencers who this age group trusts to promote the bundle. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, but if you just circle back a little bit, what age group do you think would be the best for a campaign like this, basis your data? Because I would have to price it slightly higher.
Based on the data, given that price is less of a barrier for the 25 to 34, and 35 to 44 age groups, focusing on them might yield better results, especially if the bundle is priced at a premium. Would you like to explore the specific barriers for these age groups to refine your strategy?
No, thank you, Cassie. That was really helpful. I'll talk to you again pretty soon with some more ideas. So there you have it, folks. That was Cassie. And if you feel like you missed her once we left the presentation model, do not fear. For further collaboration, you can use Cassie throughout your entire dashboard as well. And you can ask Cassie to do actions to help you make your reports and presentations faster. So just click on that.
Hey, I'm Cassie.
Hey, Cassie, welcome back. I just want to ask you, can you help me edit this slide, please?
Sure.
Could you open the edit data modal for me, please?
All right. I've opened the edit mode for this slide. Let me know if you need anything else.
Hey, Cassie, I want to add a new slide.
Okay. What title would you like for the new slide?
Let's make the slide on the impact of romantic partners, top themes of the impact of romantic partners on skincare influence.
Okay. I'm creating a new slide with the title Impact of Romantic Partners on Skincare Influence. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds better than I said it myself. Cool. So that was a quick demo on Cassie. And as you can see, a lot of this is a first in many ways in terms of interacting with your research and your reports. But fundamentally, this is it, folks. This is your rapid research platform. Minutes from brief to report, millions of conversations mined in real time for you, contextualized to your query, custom built dashboards, real-time updates, periodic runs, and then AI at every stage to supercharge your research workflow. With a platform like this, the opportunities are endless. Right? It's up to you, your imagination, and your own context to make the most out of this. We will keep pushing periodic updates to this. This is still a lot of work under development, but we thought this is something that would really change the way, and we hope it changes the way you approach your own research. Moving forward from this, you're probably asking yourself, how can I get my hands on this? And I really hope you are. And I hope we did our job right to get you there. But there's a couple of ways you can do this. We've had a lot of interest for this. So if you're not an existing customer or agency partner, you can register onto the waitlist below this. The link will be added onto the live, as well as I think it will be in the comment section and the description. Register for the waitlist quickly. We would be releasing access based on a first come, first serve version. We will still be limiting access only to waitlist approved users. For the next couple of weeks, we will only move this for waitlist users where we do custom demos for you. For our agency partners and existing customers and brands we work with already, you can request your account reps to set up a demo. We recommend the next 2 weeks itself to set up the demo so that you can get access to the platform. We will also be giving out waitlist users and select customers and partners a few dummy credits to run this platform and play around with it and really get a feel for what you can do with this at your disposal. For any more questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Me or my team will work our best to respond to you. You can also mail us at contact@consuma.ai to get any further insights. Thank you very much for joining this live. This is, again, like I said, a very big moment, not only for us, but what we feel for the AI and research ecosystem. But none of this could be possible without my brilliant team. While I've had the honor of presenting this to you, this has been the work of multiple tireless nights. And when I say multiple, I say months and years of tireless nights for a lot of the team. I think for the last 6 months, a lot of our team haven't slept to really build this out. But yeah, I mean, that's the only way we do justice to what we're building. And I hope this brings a little bit of value in the entire ecosystem. So thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you here. And I hope you guys have fun with the Rapid Research platform and truly enter the era of Rapid. Thank you.